By default, when you create a table, allow me to insert a table and resize it a bit, maybe change the style. If I right click and go to table properties, make sure you're on the table tab. We have alignment, which I introduced in the previous video, and it is quick access from here also. But on the text wrapping, by default, it is set on none. I could click on around and press OK, and then text will get wrapped around the table. Again, I'm going to layout, table properties, but if I click on the positioning, we have more features here. Horizontal, which by default it is set on the left position. Relative to column, no, I want to relative based on my page width margin. Okay, doesn't matter, it was the same result. Or I could set something like alignment right. Okay, and it is the same almost on the position, let's say left again. But we have more access, like relative to margins, page margin, based on your column. If I set column, okay, you see it is snapping to the left side of my paper. Positioning, also based on columns if you have multiple columns, which by default, as I mentioned before, we have one column. And we have also alignment for vertical. For top left, I could set the left, let's say page, and the position vertical also top based on my page, and okay. And it is snapping very top left side of my paper. I click on positioning again. And not only we could set the list of positioning, also we could type the value. For example, from the vertical, I could type, let's say 5, and because my measurement unit is centimeter, so it will set 5 centimeter. You could find it on the ruler, almost 5 centimeter. If it is visible, something like that from top. And also we have distance from surrounding text. Look at here, for instance, on the right side, I could set the right side more, maybe 1.5 centimeter, okay, and now we have more space. Also, I could set from top, maybe 2, and bottom 2, and okay. And also we have the options move with text. If it is pushing down or up and moving, you could set and the text wrapped around. Allow me to, okay, set the less value, okay. It will move and push with text. By default, actually, I moved very bad position. Allow me to maybe change the position with margin, okay. And it will move with the text if it's pushing. It is something like that. Alright, and table properties. And if I disable that, and okay, it won't push with text. Now it is the fixed position. And finally, on the table properties for wrapping positioning, we have allow overlapping. If I set that okay and okay, if we have some text, we could overlap on that based on the text shapes or contents inside of shapes or some other elements. Although we don't have any overlapping there, but you could set if need and required in some conditions. And also still you have access to the border and shadings. You could set your table styles. And I mentioned about these, and we have the last step, alt or alternative text. If you already worked with web page, especially HTML, we have something named alt text, which it is working for tables, for pictures, etc. You could read the short tips here. In some cases, if it is not loading or not displaying, or you need to some kind of adjust it, you could type it. For example, let's say my table and some descriptions. Okay. And if I go to some views such as web layout, if it is not loading for any reasons or need to make it hide or reference, you could use the alt text.